Council table?
No, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. You're excused.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Ms. Sementilli, please retake the stand. You're still under oath.
Big Eagles.
And the people may continue with their direct examination.
Thank you, Your Honor. When we broke off last Friday, I believe we were talking about the 1 month mass for Fabio and a conversation you had with the defendant and Marco in your garage back in February of 2017, correct?
Yes.
All right. Now, in April of 2017, at some point in time, did the defendant come again to Toronto?
Yes.
And did you see her again during this trip?
Yes.
And was there more conversations with her about money and collecting Fabio's life insurance?
Yes, we were together for Easter. I believe it was around the Easter time at my sister Laurie's house, and that's all we talked about was how the family was doing financially, and yes, she was still struggling with finances.
Okay. And did you also go out for dinner with her?
Yes.
Joanna, what's the people's next in order? Is it 107?
Be 127.
127. Thank you. I have a photograph dated April 13th, 2017. May it be marked as people's 127.
What does it contain?
I'm sorry?
What does it contain?
4 individuals, including the defendant and this witness. Showing you Exhibit 127. Is this a photograph that was taken when the defendant came to Toronto and you had dinner?
Yes, I had done her hair that day, and then we went out. We went out for dinner with her sister sitting to my right, and her cousin sitting next to her.
Now, at some point in May, prior to the memorial that Wella had, where they tented the parking lot, did you come to Los Angeles?
Yes, I did.
And did you have a conversation with the defendant about a potential job offer?
Yes. A family friend of Fabio's, Ernie Valorano, had an idea. My brother had sketched a lot of brush ideas, professional brush styles and shapes. He had also consulted with me a few times about how to
It actually is non-responsive.
At some point, did the defendant tell you that Ernie Valorano wanted to give her a job in Los Angeles?
Yes, he wanted to start the business and have her, myself, and Grant Larson was on the call, her brother-in-law.
At some point in May as well, while you were in LA, did you go shopping with the defendant for a new home?
Overruled.
Yes, we did. We went to go see a home. She was quite excited about it with a real estate agent and I believe one of the daughters.
And was this home in the LA area because the defendant told you that she planned on staying in Los Angeles.
Yes, she was going to stay in Los Angeles. It was in the LA area.
And what was the price range of that home that you went with the defendant with her real estate agent to?
I think it was listed in the high 800s.
And while you were in town, did you stay at the Sementilli home?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And was there a particular time while you were there where Monica went out to buy a new vehicle?
Yes, Isabella was in a car accident, and she went, one day she said she was going to go and get a new vehicle for Isabella, and we had a meeting that afternoon.
When you said a meeting, what do you mean a meeting with who?
Some work colleagues of Fabio were coming to the house to describe an event they wanted to put together for Fabio in July of 2017. So we were going to... Anyway,
Excuse me, ma'am.
Sorry.
I must understand that. We've gone through this.
At some point in time, was the defendant supposed to come back to the house for this meeting?
Yeah.
Overruled.
Yes.
And when she arrived back at the house, did she make any statements about purchasing a new vehicle?
Yes, she did. She had left and got back late, and she had taken a long time. She bought a new vehicle. She came home, and she explained what kind of tactics she used to buy this vehicle. But what...
What did she say?
She said that she was tired of being her chaperone. She had to go get her a new car, and she couldn't afford it, but she got it. And she did her best. She told them she was a widow. She told them that she's suffering financially, and her poor daughter needs a car. And she did a really good job at the dealership. And she finally got a good deal.
And were you at the house alone when she came back and said this, or were there other individuals there?
Her daughter, Isabella, was there.
Were there also individuals from Wella there?
Yes, they were outside waiting for a meeting to start.
Did you attend a memorial in Toronto the weekend of May 28th and 29th of 2017 that was put on by Wella for Fabio?
Yes.
And did you attend that event along with Salmo Cherry?
Yes, we did. I did, with him.
And did the defendant attend that event?
No.
Did she tell you why she was not going to make that event?
Overruled.
That was the weekend she was going to walk the golf course at Myrtle Beach by herself.
Okay. Did you offer to go with her to Myrtle Beach?
I did.
What was her response when you offered to go with her?
No, it's something I want to do, something Fabio always wanted to do, so I'm going to do it. I want to walk the golf course by myself.
So you did not go with her?
No.
Did the defendant ever talk to you about trips that she was taking to Las Vegas during that year in March and May?
Yes, she did.
Did the defendant tell you who she was going with to Las Vegas in March and May?
Overruled.
To Las Vegas, she said she was going with her friends Sheila and Faye.
Did you offer to come and stay with the girls while she went with her girlfriends to Las Vegas?
Yes.
Overruled.
And who did come down to stay, if anyone, with the girls, to your knowledge?
I'm not certain.
Okay. At some point on the evening of June 14th, 2017, did you receive a phone call that advised you about the defendant's arrest?
Yes.
Who made that call to you?
Deborah Obad.
And when Deborah Obad called you to tell you about the defendant's arrest, were you surprised? Did Deborah Obad tell you that the defendant was arrested along with her lover?
Yes, she did. She had mentioned that Monica and her lover were arrested for the murder of Fabio Sementilli, and I remember blacking out, and I fainted. I was told.
Did Ms. Obad also tell you that she knew that the defendant had been having an affair for some time?
Objection, relevance, calls for hearsay.
I have nothing further.
Professor Cross?
Thank you, Your Honor. Good afternoon, Ms. Sementilli.
Good afternoon.
Ms. Sementilli, it was not until after Monica was arrested in June of 2017 that you first learned that Monica was having an affair, correct?
Correct.
It was the first time you learned that the man she was having an affair with had been identified through his DNA at the scene of Fabio's killing, correct?
Object that since facts not evidence and calls for
Sustained at this time.
Your understanding from the conversations you had after Monica's arrest, well, first let me ask you this. The conversations you had that formed your understanding of Monica's arrest, why she had been taken into custody, those came from who?
Can you repeat that?
Who did you get your information from where you formed an understanding of why Monica had been arrested?
At the beginning, it was Deborah Obad, and then it started to reflect on some of the things that had happened in the previous 6 months before her arrest, since my brother's death. And then Detective Tellis and Detective Gable. And also I came to about 12 to 14 pretrials here in LA and sat in the audience.
But you, Ms. Sementilli, the first understanding you had came directly from a recorded conversation you had with Detective Parshall. Is that correct?
As well, yes.
You called Detective Parshall. Is that correct?
He called me.
You didn't call him?
I might have called him the week after, but I did speak to Detective Parshall shortly after. He did call me.
And you questioned Detective Parshall as to whether Monica was really involved, correct?
I wanted to be sure she was involved, yes.
Okay. And you didn't know at the time you called him whether she was involved, correct?
I was told she was arrested, and they had done a 6 months investigation on her.
Uh-huh.
So I knew
But-
she was arrested and involved.
According to the police, correct?
Yes, authority.
Okay. And it was in that conversation with Detective Parshall that he refused to share evidence with you, but told you his strong opinions about the case, correct?
I don't recall.
Do you recall having the conversation with Detective Parshall?
Yes, I had a conversation with him.
And in that conversation, do you recall him telling you about his strong opinions about whether Monica was involved or not?
I don't remember them being strong. I remember he was telling me with sympathetic and, very sweetly telling me that they have her and Rob Baker arrested.
Would it refresh your recollection to look at a transcript of your call with Detective Parshall?
Yes.
Your Honor, if I may approach. Would it be fair to say that Detective Parshall told you in your conversation with him also that he couldn't tell you any of the specifics of the evidence, but that he was the detective assigned to the case, and he was telling you that he was pretty certain that Monica was involved?
Your Honor, I reject that as
I don't-
multiple questions in one. It's also hearsay.
To stand on those grounds.
Ms. Sementilli, I'll come back to that. You had known, you had not been ever interviewed by the police in this case at the point Monica was arrested, correct?
Up until the point, no.
Up until that day, you had never been
No.
interviewed as a witness in this case?
No.
In fact, you were never interviewed as a witness in this case until 3.5 years after Fabio was killed, correct?
I don't recall that far out. It was probably in the first year that I was interviewed.
Who interviewed you in that first year?
Detective Tellis.
And when did he interview you?
I'm going to say when Marco Laurenti came for the grand jury, I'm going to say we visited Detective Tellis' office. I don't know if it was a standard interview, but we had conversation with him in his office
About the facts of your experience?
about everything I had experienced in the 6 months leading to her arrest.
Okay, and did Detective Tellis take notes when you were talking about the case?
Again, I don't recall.
Okay. And did you meet with anybody else when you were here in August of 2017?
Detective Gable, his partner,
Okay, Detective Gable. And did you answer questions for him?
they were together. I believe they were together.
Okay. Any other police that you met with in August of 2017?
I'm not sure. I came so many times to pretrials that I might be getting the dates off, but those are the only two detectives that I visited.
Okay. And did you visit with the prosecutor, Ms. Silverman, when you came with Marco for the grand jury?
Yes, Marco did. I was with Marco.
And you met Ms. Silverman?
No, I believe Marco did.
So you didn't meet Ms. Silverman when you came down in August of 2000?
I don't think I was supposed to be there, no.
You don't think you were supposed to
No.
be there?
No, I don't recall.
Okay. When did you meet Ms. Silverman for the first time?
I came down to some preliminary trials and I introduced myself.
And did you ever meet with her in her office?
Most recently, before the trial was supposed to start last year.
Okay.
And then when Baker testified his guilt,
Okay. When was that? July?
July, yes, of last
Okay.
year.
And any other meetings you've had with Ms. Silverman since then?
I might have met her about 4 or 5 times every time I came to preliminary trial.
Okay. And do you know when those times
No.
were?
No,
Okay. And you met with her before this trial?
no, I'm a witness. I wasn't coming out to see her. I've been in my condo till now.
You haven't talked to her at all since you've gotten here?
No,
Not at all?
no. The morning before we came, when was it? Friday? We had a chat on Friday
Where were you when you had this chat?
at her office.
Okay. And did you talk about your testimony about the case?
We went over notes for the case.
Okay, went over notes for the case?
Yeah.
Okay. And you talked to her also earlier today?
No, in the elevator I said hello.
You didn't talk to her in the hallway?
She was pretty occupied, just other than how's your weekend been?
She didn't show you a list of things on a piece of paper?
We went over my notes again, yes.
Oh, you went over your notes again?
Yes.
I see, okay. And that was before you came in to testify today?
Correct, yeah.
And the interview you had in March of 2021, you were interviewed by Detective Roberts. Do you know who that is?
Yes, Mitzi Roberts.
Yes. You were interviewed by her?
On the phone, I had a conversation with her.
Okay, a fairly lengthy conversation?
I believe so. I don't recall right now, but what was it regarding? I'm wondering. I don't remember specifics.
Well, was it regarding this case?
Oh, yes, of course, yes. Yeah.
And you told her what you believed were important facts that you had?
Always, yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And you told her about Monica on the day you arrived in January 25, 2017. You told her about claiming that Monica gave you some tour of the house?
Yes,
You did?
yes,
Okay. And you told her that Monica, as you testified here, told you that the safe at the house had been broken?
yes,
You gave her those facts,
yes.
made it clear.
I would object. Asked and answered twice now.
Calls for speculation.
Ms. Sementilli, you have strong feelings about Monica Sementilli, don't you?
I do.
You have made it would be fair to say, incredible efforts, you personally, to support the prosecution of Monica Sementilli in any way you can offer, correct?
Well, I'm gonna object, that's argumentative.
It's vague.
You have worked quite a bit to assist the prosecution in this case, correct?
Same objection.
Thank you. I'm sorry, I worked quite a bit. Sorry, can you repeat that again?
You have made efforts, you personally have made a number of efforts to support the prosecution of Monica Sementilli in this case, correct?
Yeah.
Objection, Your Honor, vote.
Again, he changed it, sustained.
Ms. Sementilli, even before you were ever interviewed by Detective Roberts in March of 2021, which was 3.5 years after Fabio was killed, you made a series of appearances on a television show called 48 Hours. Is that correct?
Yes.
And you went on camera a number of times, correct?
Yes.
And you gave photographs and other memorabilia to 48 Hours, which 48 Hours licensed. Is that correct?
Yes.
And you didn't get paid for any of that, those pictures or anything, correct?
No.
But you spent a lot of time and energy on coming to film you and talking about this case, correct?
Not a lot of time.
How much time did you spend on the 48 Hours TV show?
We probably did a 45-minute to an hour interview talking about my brother.
Okay. And when was that?
In the beginning, when I came here to one of the preliminary hearings.
Okay. And you've spoken to representatives from that show a number of times since then?
Just pleasantries. Nothing like an interview.
When you say pleasantries?
Yeah, how are you? How was your flight? How was your trip? When are you leaving? When are you coming? Is it cold? How's everybody in the family?
So one time you were filmed,
Mm-hmm.
and no conversations about the case other than how was your flight, pleasantries.
Yes.
Okay. Am I correct that when you first spoke with Detective Parshall in this case, you made clear to Detective Parshall that Fabio was a happy man, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
You made clear to Detective Parshall that Monica you viewed her as a loving wife.
Yes.
You told him that at the time.
Yes.
And that's how you viewed Monica at the time, correct?
Yes.
And this was 5 months after Fabio had been killed, correct?
Yes.
And you, in fact, made clear when you appeared on the television show that you saw the relationship between Monica and Fabio, you said, as a love story.
I don't recall saying that.
You described them having a loving relationship. Would that be fair
Yes.
to say? And you never said anything at all about any conflict that you observed in their marriage, correct?
Correct.
Happy and loving.
Yes.
And Ms. Sementilli, at the time that Fabio was killed in January of 2017, you had actually spent quite a bit of time with Fabio and Monica, holidays, family events, trips to Canada, your trips here, correct?
Yes.
And you had a definite opportunity to observe them together, correct?
Yes.
In your direct testimony, Ms. Sementilli, the prosecutor asked you a series of questions about when Fabio and Monica were first married. Do you recall that?
No.
The prosecutor asked you if Fabio and Monica got married in 1997,
Yes, that's
and she asked you if that was after Fabio divorced his wife, Banda.
yes.
Okay. But am I correct that Fabio was already separated from Vanda and living with his mom at the time he ever started going out with Monica?
No, you're not correct.
Okay. When did Fabio start going out with Monica?
That I noticed?
Yes.
I'm going to say early 93, 94? No, early 93.
And when was Fabio, at some point Fabio, when he separated from Vanda, moved in with his mom?
Yes.
When was that?
I don't recall the dates.
Okay. And when Monica and Fabio got together, would it be fair to say that Monica's family really embraced Fabio?
No, unfortunately, they didn't like Fabio.
So they never embraced
They
him?
never approved of Fabio.
Really?
Yes.
They never invited him to be at family events?
Eventually, yes.
And when was this eventually?
When she was talking serious about marriage, perhaps. My brother and her spent more time together, but in the beginning it wasn't easy for my brother because he had a child, and they disapproved.
Okay. But at some point they embraced Fabio, would that be
Yes.
fair to say?
Yes.
They loved Fabio?
Yes, very much so.
And they welcomed him into the family at
Yes.
some point.
Mhm.
And this was sometime after they first got together, but before they got married.
Correct.
Okay. And so at the time that Fabio and Monica were married, it was the case that Monica's family had demonstrated love and welcoming for Fabio, correct?
It's irrelevant.
I'll allow it. It's over.
Can you repeat that?
Monica's family loved and embraced and welcomed Fabio at the time they got married
Yes.
into the family.
Yes.
Council, I'm going to interrupt. We're going to take our afternoon recess for 15 minutes. The admonition still applies.